Welcome to the Backpacking Podcast, brought to you by Outdoor Vitals, Performance First Ultralight Gear. John Kelly here with my good friend Jeremiah, the king of Kentucky backpacking stringer. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, we are sponsored by Outdoor Vitals, and they are currently selling the Skyline jogger pants that are just ridiculously nice. Am I right, Jeremiah?
Yeah, so breathable, so airy,
breathable.
so light.
So nice. And so if you want to get your hands on those, there will be a link in the description below where you can check those out. Also, if you are a member of the Live Ultralight community, you can get on there and get an extra $9 off of that purchase. Definitely check out the Live Ultralight membership.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw my shirt, John, but I'm wearing my Outdoor Beard shirt along with this lovely beard, and you can have one too if you visit our other sponsor for today, outdoorbeards.com. Let me read you a few of their products here that help me grow my beard and mustache to this luscious mane. Beard balm, of course, or beard oil if that's your pleasure. You can get them in a number of different flavors.
I like the fact we call them flavors.
Well, they are flavorful. Just don't eat them. They're intended for your facial hair to smell good. Your wife will love it. Or if you're a chick with a beard, your husband or whoever you're with is going to love it. Summertime beard balm, morning brew, grandpa's pipe, something sweet. They also have soaps, lip balms, mustache wax. You can get a whole bundle so that you can take care of everything at once. And they have some beard care tools like a lovely beard brush or a beechwood beard comb. So check out outdoorbeards.com. Use our code BACKPACKING whenever you check out, and you'll save 10% off your purchase.
So thank you very much to Outdoor Beards for being, as we always say, our longest standing sponsor for the show. Jeremiah, today you are in charge. You've got the topic. You're leading the discussion. Okay. And I got to be honest, you told me the last episode that you weren't going to tell me what we're talking about. You said you were going to throw me a curveball. So I'm curious where we're going today.
Well, initially, here's what I wanted to do. I did a video, and if y'all listened to last week's episode, we talked some about this video and some of the negative comments that I got. But
which is always fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's entertaining. So the video was basically a top 10 frequently asked questions, or FAQ, about backpacking if you're a beginner. So what I decided to do for this episode was, instead of doing a 10-minute video where I quickly answered those questions, I thought that we could unpack them a little bit. And then I revised that decision because I figured a lot of the people that are listening to the show are not just beginners. It's also people that are out backpacking. They want to be entertained. So I want to meet the audience's needs, and I want to have fun and just be entertaining in general. So yeah. Here's the curveball.
Ooh.
I have recently been using ChatGPT quite a bit. Ooh. And I've hit the daily limit on questions one time since I've started using it because I refuse to do the paid version. So it's $20 a month, dude. I don't need another $20 subscription. So I use the free version, which is like ChatGPT 3 or 3.5 or something at the moment. And I asked it, can you give me a list of top 10 frequently asked questions for backpacking? So what we're going to do is two parts here, because I asked it another question.
Don't ask it what gear to use. You want to talk about it like a complete train wreck of a list.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I've done that one.
That's what we're here for. We can give you
we're the train wreck.
Only sometimes. So what we're going to do, John, is I ask it a separate question, which we'll get to here in just a minute. But we're going to rapid fire through these top 10 questions that ChatGPT said would be good FAQ questions. Now, some of these are the same as mine, but some of them are slightly different or totally different. So if you want to hear mine, you can just go to my YouTube channel, Jeremiah Stringer Hikes, and actually watch that video. But here's ChatGPT's first question. Okay, I'm going to let you rapid fire here. Okay.
Ooh, so this is like when I put you up against it. You're doing it to me today.
Exactly
Oh,
right.
let's
I'm driving,
go.
baby. So we got
Let's
rapid
go.
fire. We're doing short form answers here only. And some questions I'll also answer, some I will not.
Short
All right.
form
Question
answers.
number one.
Wow.
Short
Okay.
form answer.
I'll do my best.
All right. Here we go. Question number one. What essential gear do I need for backpacking? Short form only. You're
Short
like, oh
form.
my God. You're like, this is the whole list. Okay.
Okay, here
Let
we
me.
go. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
We're gonna break it down by systems.
Oh, that's a good idea. And if you forget something, I'll add it in here because I actually have my gear list in front of me categorized.
Shelter system,
Okay.
sleep system, cook system, sanitation, personal care system,
Yes.
clothing system,
Mhm.
backpack, and luxury items.
I think you covered most of it. The only things I would add,
Electronics and electronics.
electronics and first aid.
Okay, yeah, I usually put those things together, but you're right. Yeah, first aid.
Yeah. So that was pretty good there, John. Not bad short form for a long list answer. All right. Question number two.
Okay, question number 2.
How do I choose the right backpack for my trip?
Buy all your other gear first, and then make sure it all fits into the backpack you're going to take on the trail with you.
I love it. And I will add, you're going to have to go lightweight if you don't do a hip belt. So if you're somebody that doesn't want hip belt or doesn't want a frame backpack,
Best
make sure you
idea,
go-
best idea ever is go get yourself a trash compactor bag, put all the gear that you're going to take with you on a trip in it, take it to your local outfitter, see if they'll let you put that in a backpack and walk around the store with it.
I love it.
And
Question
if you
number
can
three.
do that, you're good.
Yes. What are some tips for packing my backpack efficiently? Rapid fire.
All right. You want to keep all the heaviest stuff towards the middle of the pack and close to your back. Everything else you want to keep on the outside of the pack towards the top and the bottom and towards the outside of the pack away from your back.
I love it. I'll also add
Anything that's wet, pack on the outside of the pack in the outside pockets. Do not put it in with all the dry stuff.
Yes, absolutely. The only thing I have to add is the more you pack it, the more strategic you'll be able to become. So then
Yeah.
you'll be like, I frequently use this. Let me put it at the top of the pack.
And also think strategically. You know, if you know you're going to need food at a certain time, make sure the food's easily accessible. You don't want to have to go hunting through your pack every time you go to open it up for something.
Exactly. All right. 4. How do I plan a backpacking route or route?
Man, that's short form.
Short form. You got 30 seconds.
Short form. Okay, hang on. I have to go short form on how to plan a trip?
20 seconds.
Yo, you're going to take time. Oh, okay, start this one over. Start it over. I need a full 30.
Okay.
I need at least a full 30 seconds.
All right, we'll start over the 30 seconds.
Okay. Search the internet. Find the trip that you're wanting. Find different apps that might have that trail on it. Compare all of them together. Find the ones that all have something in common so that you're not getting 15 different routes for the same trip. Make sure you also check on ratings for the trail. Make sure it's not too difficult, that you're not going to get injured on the trip. Check water levels to make sure you're going to be able to be hydrated while you're on the trip. Also, be smart and take somebody who already knows what they're doing.
Oh, I love that answer.
That's the best I can do. Like with that one. That's a terrible answer, but that's the best I can do with like 30 seconds.
No, I think you handled it well. All right, let's move on to food. What food should I bring, and how do I prepare meals for the trail?
The easiest way is to buy prepackaged freeze-dried meals. Also bring snacks, but don't bring too many because you won't eat them all. You think you will, but you won't. And the best way to pack it is to get separate gallon Ziploc bags for each day that you're going to be on the trail. That way you can pack all your food down into your pack, but you can pull out that day's food and leave it at the top so it's easily accessible throughout the day.
Absolutely fantastic answer. I will add that this is a very subjective question.
Very.
So there's really not a wrong way to do your meals.
There's cheaper ways to do it, but I only had 30 seconds.
Yes. And I probably would add in the wintertime, it's a little bit, cold weather is a little bit more friendly when it comes to fresh food because summertime spoils.
Especially like eggs and things like that.
Yeah. Or raw meats, anything along those lines. All right. Number 6, how do I ensure my safety while backpacking? What's your keys to safety?
You can never ensure your safety, but you can do the things that can make you safer. Always carry some form of GPS communicator beacon. So if something does go sideways, emergency people can be there to help you. Make sure that your gear that you buy fits you the right way so that you're not going to injure yourself while you're out on trail. Having the wrong size shoes can cause more damage to you than anything else. So make sure you have the right footwear. Make sure you have the right backpack, that you're not carrying so much gear that you hurt yourself. And when you're hiking, realize that uphill and downhill are very different. You have a better chance of getting injured going downhill than you do going uphill. So make sure you take care of your joints, your ankles, your knees, your back, all that stuff. Trekking poles can also help as far as taking pressure off of those points.
I love that you added in there, you can never ensure safety. Let's keep in mind, you are headed into the wilderness.
Yes.
So it never hurts to have an extra person with you
And
as well.
every one of us has fallen on trail.
Oh, yeah,
Every one of us has fallen on trail. And some of us have done it publicly.
Yeah, and for some reason published it publicly.
It was entertaining. I mean, here's the thing. If I'm going to publish it, I'm going to put it all out there. You know what I'm saying?
That's the number one job.
That may be why I don't like put trips out anymore. It's because I'm tired of putting out falling videos. I don't know.
Number 7, what should I know about water purification on trail?
You need it. That's for sure. Never drink straight from any stream, lake, pond. Always filter your water. In the U.S., you don't necessarily need to purify it. But if you are traveling abroad, like in another country, you're better off having some form of water purification just to be safe, because there's different things that you can get that we just don't have here in the U.S. But always take some kind of a filter. The easiest ones to use are the squeeze filters, where you use some form of dirty water bag or bottle that you squeeze the water through the filter into whatever apparatus you're going to be drinking from. But make sure you always filter your water. Do not drink straight from any stream, pond, lake. There might be some you can. There really might be, and I know some people that do it, but it's not worth risking it. I know I've gotten some stuff on trips, and let me tell you, when you're going to the bathroom 12 times within 2 hours, it's not fun.
Diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Be a good sound bite. All right. I like the info there, and good advice. Number 8, how do I deal with potential wildlife encounters? Rapid fire.
Potential wildlife encounters?
That's correct.
Can we narrow that down to specific animals, or do we have to get them all in one answer? Before I even start my answer, I've got to know the question here.
Okay, let me give you a little specificity.
Okay.
We're talking U.S. typically. So mountain lions, black bears, brown bears, or grizzlies, and then just obscure wildlife, whether it's stuff like ground rodents, squirrels, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so let's deal with the nasty, mean ones first. I'm requesting 2 answers for this because there's 2 completely different situations.
All right.
Is that fair?
Let's go with predators first. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Whatever you do, if you know you're in an area where black bears, brown bears, animals like that are going to be in existence, they have insane senses of smell. So do not eat where you sleep. Period. Don't ever do it. If you're eating around a campfire, make sure the campfire is away from wherever it is you're sleeping. You do not want your food smell to be near where you're sleeping at night, because that could be a real problem for you. Also, using some form of bear hang or bear vault or something to keep the food so that the animal doesn't come into your camp. You want to pack that away quite a distance from your campsite so that animals, one, can't get to it, so you want to hang it as high as you can, but you also want to make it so that if they do get to it, they don't associate that with where you're sleeping, because animals, when they get hungry, they don't care who's in their way. Yep. You could be part of that meal if you're not careful. So definitely do that. And again, that also includes things like toothpaste. If you've got a stinky toothpaste with you, do not keep that in your tent. Do not keep that in your hammock. Put that in with your food, because that smell will attract them.
This is in heavy predator country.
Yes, heavy predator country.
Heavy. Okay. And what about just your average wildlife? Maybe you see a deer, maybe you see squirrels, maybe you see groundhogs, whatever that's out there on trail.
Well, this is also food related. Rodents become very comfortable with humans fast. And so
Yeah.
if you're in an area that has a lot of rodents and stuff, you don't want your food near you either. They'll find a way to get to it. That's why these bear hangs are so important, because animals can get to that food. What's also a good idea is if you're someone who's dealing with a lot of that, what are the bags that are made of the really thick material that they
Ursac.
use? Yeah, Ursac. An Ursac would be great in areas like that because it's a little harder to get into, same as bear vaults and the bear canisters. Those are really good in those areas as well.
All right. What are your top tips for staying comfortable and dry while backpacking? So let's say on trail and at camp. So you get 2 tips on trail and 2 tips at camp.
So
Staying
just
comfortable
so
and
you're just
dry.
saying one good tip for each one.
Yeah, comfortable and no, 2 for each.
Two for each.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2 tips on trail to stay comfortable or to stay dry.
Controversial take number 1. I use an umbrella instead of a raincoat when I'm hiking. Because when you wear a raincoat and you're hiking, you're going to sweat inside of it. You're going to get wet regardless. It's just, instead of getting water wet, you're getting sweat wet, which means you're hurrying up the process of dehydrating, and you're also going to smell awful. So I've learned to hike with an umbrella, a lightweight umbrella that you can kind of tuck into your shoulder strap and use when you're hiking. So for me, that's what I like to do to stay dry when I'm on trail. Also, in the wintertime, make sure when you're going up and down hills and you're hiking, don't hike to the point where you're sweating a lot, because at night, if you're wet, when it's cold out, you have a severe risk for hypothermia. So be very careful overdoing it when you're out in really cold weather hiking. And
All right,
then
what about
at camp, okay. So if you're setting up a hammock, let's start with that. If you're setting up a hammock, you want to keep your stuff dry. The best thing you can do is set your tarp up first, put everything underneath it, and then get it set up. If you'll do that when you're setting up at camp, you'll have a tendency to stay much drier. Also, if you know that it's going to rain a lot, bringing an extra tarp with you is not a bad idea, so that you have a place for you and your buddies to gather when you're out there on trail. If you're in a tent, if you have like a tent that has a separate inner and outer, it's probably a good idea, if you can, to set up the outer first. They call it a fast fly setup, where you set up the fly first and then get underneath that. And underneath that dry area, then you can start setting up your inner, so that you don't get rain inside of your tent before you get it set up. So there you go. Is that good?
That was fantastic, man. You even hit the tent and the hammock. All right. Last rapid fire question.
Okay.
And then I got a fun.
And this is on fire, dude. Like you're bringing it to me.
We're burning it up.
I'll
And
tell
then I
you,
got
man.
a fun transition for us to talk about to finish out the show.
Okay.
Last one. How do I minimize my impact on the environment while backpacking? So give me 3 ways that you would suggest minimizing your environment impact.
Well, for one, always pick up your trash.
Okay.
Don't leave trash. Don't leave trash laying anywhere at all. If you're gonna make a fire, before you leave camp, make sure that it's completely put out, that you've absolutely cleaned up that area, so that it's not there's no chance of a fire catching onto something else and then you burning down a forest, because that's bad. And then the other one would be bring a trowel with you, and if you're gonna go to the bathroom, dig a cat hole, dig it the right depth, and make sure you bury that really nice and clean, like, because there's a lot of people that they don't dig it 6 inches deep, and it doesn't really get covered up all that well. And if you happen to go over and walk near a tree and your foot sinks, what comes up is not always nice. So make sure if you're gonna do the deuce, do it the right way, and minimize that impact on other people. Is that a fair one?
Yeah, I like it. I was just preparing for the next.
Oh no!
Next
Oh no!
segment.
Here we go.
So, hopefully everybody enjoyed the rapid fire there, and it gave you a little info. Hopefully a couple tips that you didn't already know.
Be gentle with me in the comments. Be gentle. I was only given 30 seconds. That was it.
Yeah.
30. 3-0.
Yeah, you didn't have much grace there. This is what I asked Chat GPT for this other segment.
Oh no!
What are 10 fun questions a seasoned backpacker would ask. All right. And
A
I don't know if we'll make
seasoned
it wrong.
backpacker. Ooh.
Seasoned backpacker.
Okay.
So this is for you listeners out there that you've been on your fair share of trips. You know what you're doing out on trail. And then I ask it, can you make these questions funnier? And it said, of course, here are 10 funnier questions for seasoned backpackers. So
Oh, no.
let me read you
Okay.
the
Let's
first
hear it.
question, and then I'll read you what it said that was funnier. We'll do a couple of these and see if they're actually funnier, and then answer some of them to finish out the show.
Okay.
This was question number 1 originally, 10 fun questions. What's the most stunning sunrise or sunset you've witnessed on trail? And here was the funnier version, I guess. What's the most epic sunrise or sunset you've witnessed while desperately trying to find your tent? What does it mean?
That's great.
Well, I mean, it did give me a chuckle. I'll give it that.
That's good.
That is
That's
a
good.
funnier question. But that's not exactly what I meant by make the questions funnier.
Yeah.
I meant like make them more fun and entertaining to ask.
Yeah.
But I guess it does. You want one more, and then we'll answer some of these.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Question number 2: have you ever had a close encounter with wildlife? What happened? And here's the revised, funnier version. Have you ever had a wildlife encounter that made you rethink your life choices?
That's a good one. That's really good. I like that.
Okay. So, do you want to answer either one of those questions, or would you rather answer something else that it prompted me with?
All I know is a sunrise on a mountain in Africa is still the best thing I've seen. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I'll give you a real good sunrise that I got. Honestly, I'm a bigger sunset kind of guy than I am sunrise. And it's predictable why. I like to sleep.
Mhm.
I like to stay up late, have fun, and then sleep.
Yeah.
But there was one morning whenever we were on the Cumberland Gap. I can't remember the name of the trail, but I
Down
remember
in southwest or southeastern Kentucky.
Yeah, that's over southeastern Kentucky, right around West Virginia. All those borders. There's like 3 states.
Yeah, Virginia's down there. Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee, Kentucky. So I guess where those 3 states meet would be kind of the Cumberland Gap area. And we're sleeping in a tent, or I was sleeping in a tent. Everybody else is in a hammock. So I didn't sleep great, and I was kind of on a slope. I was doing the little trick where you stuff your backpack under your pad so you don't keep sliding down all night. And then as the sun was coming up, it was daylight. I said, I guess it's time for me to get up. Because if you're not having a great sleep in a tent, whenever the sun's up, you're ready
get up.
to get out.
Yep.
So I said, I'm going to go ahead and get up. And I woke Jason up, and we walked up a half mile up to the top of this giant overlook and could see 2 of the states from right there and watch the epic sunrise.
That's cool.
Great sunrise.
That's cool.
Okay. What about wildlife encounters that made you rethink your life choices?
I don't think I've had any that have made me rethink my life choices, but I remember honestly, I've encountered wildlife, but I've never been in like a dangerous situation, except for maybe when I was doing the Sheltoe Trace, and this is actually on video because this is back when I actually videoed trips, but I almost stepped on a copperhead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was hiking up from Cumberland Falls down near Cumberland Falls. We just left Cumberland Falls that morning. We were hiking up to this shelter that we were camping at that night, and my buddy Brian, he goes, "Hey, be careful! That was a copperhead." I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "You almost stepped on it."
Wow. Yeah, they're silent, dude.
Yeah,
it's not like rattlesnakes. You'll never see them come.
Yeah, copperheads are terrifying. So luckily, I didn't step on it, and I actually didn't see it. Brian saw it. It was dark. It was getting dark out when it happened, and so I didn't even see it, which surprised me. It was on the trail with it being dark. Usually they come out when it's sunlight to sun on the trail in an open area, but at night they usually find their way back somewhere, a little more secluded. But yeah, so I almost stepped on a copperhead.
I wonder.
That would have made me rethink life choices.
Yes. I was talking about this in a video I done. I wonder how remote does it have to be for you to not be able to walk out of there with a snake bite? Like, let's say you had been bitten by that copperhead.
Yeah.
Would you have to hit the SOS, or do you wrap it up? I know you don't have Brian to try to suck the venom out, because that is a total myth. It doesn't work. You're just going to have somebody sucking on your leg where you got bit by a snake.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I know for us that section right there that was one of the most butt kicking sections of trail I've ever hiked. We didn't find out till later it was like a double black diamond rated trail through there. We only had like 4 miles to go, and it took us several hours to get through that section of trail. Like Brian and I it kicked our butts that day.
That's a hard
yeah, and we didn't know it was like that because Brian had hiked almost 20 miles that morning up, and I'd been sick and had come back to meet him on trail. I actually had to go back down and re-hike that section later. Yeah, so he was already tired. And then that little section of trail kicked our butts. If something would have happened, man, we were halfway up the trail at that point. It would have been several hours before anyone would have gotten to me. So it could have been pretty bad.
How I just wonder how many miles can you walk after you've been bit by a copperhead?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't
know. You're walking, and that's creating more cardiovascular,
which is causing the venom to spread faster.
That's what I thought. But like, there's different types of venom for snakes. Some will like start to make your skin just die from there, right? And some will coagulate your blood and make it too thick, and then your heart can't pump it.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm not a big snake guy, but from what I've seen on TV and stuff, the different snakes around the different venoms around the world, but even like in Kentucky, having water moccasins and copperheads and
rattlesnakes.
Yeah, those venoms are going to do different things.
Yeah.
But I still think that you can survive a pretty long time. If you're just sitting there, let's say you got bit by a copperhead, and then you just sit down, the snake slithers off, and you just sit there and you wait until you die. You're going to be waiting a while, like at least 24 hours. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
I don't know. Now that you're saying, I really want to look that up and find out.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find it online. And while you're looking at that earlier, I wanted to mention something about the rain jacket. You said that you use the umbrella instead of the rain jacket.
Yeah.
And I looked up. I used the Tushar rain jacket.
Yeah,
it's actually by Outdoor Vitals because it's a lot of
good jacket. I've got one.
7.4 ounces for that rain jacket. So most of the time, I will bring, if I know it's going to rain, I'll bring the rain jacket and the umbrella, because the umbrella is like a pound, and this is extra 6 ounces. And I say, well, now I got to eat it.
Well, the umbrella is like 6 ounces. At least the one I have.
Oh, so then it's substantially lighter. Because I got rain jackets that weigh a pound.
Yeah. So you bring those two together, and you're still under a pound with them together. So, okay, so copperhead bites. You ready for this?
Yep.
Copperhead bites are rarely fatal, with a case fatality rate of about 0.01%. However, you should always seek medical attention if bitten by a venomous snake. The worst effects of a copperhead usually occur between 24 and 48 hours after the bite, and patients typically stay in the hospital for about 36 hours.
Mike was telling me at Red River Gorge,
not too bad.
They got a snake museum, and you can go in there and see how they milk the snake's fangs, and they send it off. And do you know how they make the anti-venom?
Out of the venom.
Yeah, but the process.
No,
Now, this is what Mike told me, so I don't think he's lying. He's probably listening right now. I think he listens to the show quite a bit. He told me that I think he took his daughters, and they went to the snake museum. They showed them the whole process, and they send it off, and they put that snake venom in a horse, and then they do something with the horse's blood to extract, because the snake venom won't kill it. Horses are so big. So then they do something. They have a process with the blood. I don't know if they separate it, because I've donated plasma, and they can separate the water part of your blood from the red blood cells and put it back in. So they're doing something with the blood, and they make anti-venom out of it.
Really?
But I saw on TV, you can only get anti-venom like once or twice, and then your body's pretty much immune to it. So if you get bit by a snake again, it can kill you.
Huh. Now, was it the Black Plague that hit London? Yeah, and I believe they got the antibody for that from horses. Is that right?
I'm totally uninformed on that, ignorant to the fact.
I feel like it was when that hit, that's what they did too. I think that somehow it got in a horse and they used the horse's blood to come up with the cure for that. I could be wrong. I mean, we're not the scientific podcast. We are the
No.
backpacking podcast. So
Facts are optional.
yeah. So
Totally
tell me the
optional.
next question, man. I'm ready for the next one.
All right. Original question. What's the most remote place you've ever camped? Okay. The revised question. What's the most remote place you've ever camped? And did you start talking to inanimate objects for company? Where does it get this stuff from?
I don't know, but that's great. I love it.
I've never talked to inanimate objects, but how remote have you been out there?
I mean, in the U.S., is there really I guess if you were out in the Badlands or something like that, that'd be pretty remote. But really, in the U.S., most of the places where we backpack, you're not that remote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's roads, like even when I was in Holy Cross Wilderness in Colorado, and that's a wilderness in the middle of nowhere, you still were getting passed by like these rock crawling Jeeps and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't feel like here in the I think if we went to Iceland or something like that, you went to
Mhm.
some of those areas, that would be pretty remote. I guess for me it would be Kilimanjaro. I mean, that's
Huh.
about as remote as I could think, but at the same time, there's like several hundred people on that mountain at the same time all the time from groups
Yep.
going up there. So I don't know if I've ever actually, if I can say I've really been remote. I've been in a lot of places where we're out in the middle of nowhere, but how remote was it really? You know what I mean?
And with the SOS beacon,
Yeah.
a helicopter a lot of times can get you, even if you're totally stranded. A helicopter could be there in an hour or whatever.
Yeah. And I know there was one time I was backpacking and it was a miserable trip. I can't remember where I was going. It might have been on the Sheltowee Trace when I was doing that. But I think there was one time it was just raining. It was just me. And I was in between two really small towns in Kentucky. And it was just me. And it's raining the whole time. And I think I started talking to myself a lot while I was out there to get my mind off of like how much this sucked. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like, I guess that's the closest thing to talking to an inanimate object.
Yeah. Well, you got to do something to take your mind off the top 2 fun you're having out there, because sometimes
Yeah.
it's miserable.
Yeah, when you're by yourself and that's going on, man, there's all these thoughts going through your head of like, man, if my gear fails, what am I going to do? You know, what happens if I'm hiking out of here and I slip on the mud and I fall down a hill and I snap my leg in half and, you know, what am I supposed to do now? And this is pre like YouTube channel, pre Zolio. This is pre all that stuff. You know, it was just me going out backpacking. And yeah, I don't know what I'd have done, man. So I ended up I remember very distinctly sitting in my tent, that horrendous Big Agnes tent that I had, and just talking to myself.
Yeah,
trying
the
to get my
dog-
mind up. There was no hang time hook back then for me. So yeah, that was rough. And there was no internet either. So I couldn't like watch a movie or TV or anything. I mean, there was nothing. It was just me and my thoughts. So
Yeah, I need a distraction out there if it's going to be like that.
yeah.
At least some music or an audiobook.
Yeah.
Just take your mind off of it. Okay, I'm going to give you a choice on this one. Okay, and then we'll do a couple more, but they will be poop. All right, a little poop.
The questions
talk.
will be poop, or they'll be poop related questions.
Could be both. We'll see.
These questions are crap.
We'll see. These are Chat GPT questions. These are not my questions. So blame AI.
Okay.
Don't blame the host.
I will
Okay.
blame a unintelligent intelligence.
Yes. Are you going to go with food, gear, or yeah, I'm going to say food or gear. Which one you want?
Give me food.
Food. Okay. So here's the original question. What's your go-to trail meal or favorite backcountry recipe? And then the funnier version, what's your gourmet go-to trail meal that almost made you consider becoming a backcountry chef?
Oh, Stowaway Gourmet.
That
Black.
makes you,
That was the bison black bean beer chili. That stuff, dude. Like, that's the first time I've ever eaten food when I've been out backpacking. I was with Brian, actually. We were just doing an overnight up
yeah.
down near the Big South Fork. Like, the very bottom of the Daniel Boone, right as it butts up to the Big South Fork. And we're just doing an overnight at a campsite. And I started eating that, and I stopped. And I looked at Brian, and I looked back at the food, and I got out my phone, and started filming. Because I was like, this is too good. I got to film this. And I devoured that chili, and I made a video out of it. It was my first video that ever got over 30,000 views.
And how much cooking does that take? Is it just boiling water?
It's just boiling water. But I was like, how does this taste like this? And it's a freeze-dried meal. I'm not kidding, folks. It is the best thing. To this day, I can't find anything better than that stuff to eat on trail. And right now, because of the diet I'm on and the shots I'm taking, I can't even eat it.
Well,
and I got 2 bags of it sitting behind me right now, and I can't eat them.
It's amazing that you consider becoming a backcountry chef after boiling some water.
I know, right?
Well, they did all the hard work for you. They make it simple.
Yeah, but it made me go, man, if you can make this good, I wonder if I could like dehydrate some stuff at the house and it'd be this good.
Well, I don't know. They got it going on.
So good. So
Let's
it's
talk
still
about
so good.
for a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
I kind of want to hear the gear question.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we might as well. We got nothing else to do.
Yeah. Why not? Okay. What is your favorite piece of gear that you never leave home without? And then the funnier version. We got to make sure this is the same question. What the heck? What's your favorite piece of gear that you'd rescue first if your tent turned into a portal to another dimension? Wow. Boy, they're coming swinging with that one. Thank you, Chat GPT. Actually, his name is Alex. I let him name himself. His name is Alex, which I thought was funny because
that's a good question, Alex. That's a good question, Alex. Man, that's a.
Yeah, I like the portal part of the question myself.
If it's going to take everything away and you could only get one thing
into a different dimension, we'll call it 4th dimension.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. Probably my poop kit.
Oh, that's an essential part.
I'm serious. That might be the thing I don't want that. Yeah, because I mean, I can always Zolio my way out after that. But if I have to go and I can't wipe that stuff, that's bad. That's real bad.
You know, people used to use corn cobs to wipe with. No toilet paper. Do you know about that?
I think that's why the phrase of people being angry is like, do you have a corn cob stuck up your butt? I think there's a reason that's the question people ask. Because that can't make you happy. That cannot make you happy.
I got to say, I love having a bidet and a little bit of TP. I'm glad I don't live it.
Yeah.
1600.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, man. I'm just going to be honest. You'd have to have your poop kit. Like, and then to be able to like sanitize your hands after that too, you know, like that, I just think you'd have to have it.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that's a perfect segue into the last segment of today's show. Poop.
Yes.
In all capital letters. Poop. P-O-O-P.
Also known as feces or excrement.
Yes. Many titles we could call it. Now, we won't get to all these questions, so I'm going to let you pick a few. Starting 1 through 10.
You have 10 questions on poop?
I have 10 that you can pick from. You can't pick them all.
Why don't you just pick your favorites and ask them, and I will go along with it?
Well, I haven't read them all.
Oh.
I did the one that I have read. I have them here in front of me, but I like to read them as we go here because I think it's funny.
All right.
Okay. The one that I have read is question number 5. This is so ridiculous. Here's what I prompted the Chat GPT with. What are some funny, frequently asked questions for backpacking about pooping? Sure. Here's some funny, frequently asked questions about pooping while backpacking. Question number 5. How do you maintain your dignity while carrying a trowel around like a royal scepter? What?
So like people are like carrying their trowel and holding it up in front of them as they go to poop or as they get done? Is that what it's saying that people do?
I'm going to say, can you create an image of a backpacker
Carrying a trowel
carrying
like a scepter.
carrying their poop trowel around like a scepter?
And this will be our thumbnail for this video.
A royal scepter. Now, it may not do it because, again, I am behind a paywall here.
Yeah.
And last time, he doesn't. I don't have the ability to create images directly. However, I can describe the image or draw it. Okay.
Or draw it?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, he says he can draw it. Can you draw this? You can use an illustration tool.
Oh, please do it.
But if it won't let me draw it, I'll just read you his short description.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. Picture a backpacker in full gear standing on a scenic trail. They have a confident and regal stance with one arm raised high, holding a small, lightweight poop trowel like a royal scepter. The trowel is adorned with playful embellishments, like a crown on top, perhaps with a few jewels or ribbons to enhance the royal effect. The backpacker's expression is one of a comical seriousness, as if they are a monarch surveying their kingdom. Surrounding them, the forest or mountain landscape adds to humorous contrast of their dignified pose with the humble purpose of the trowel. Okay, would you like to see the picture? Will it let me share my screen on here?
No, but if you save the picture and send it to me, I will put it up, or we can. Well, I guess if people are watching this right now or listening right now, then they've seen it already. So yeah, go ahead and send it to me.
Okay. I'm going to send it to you right now. I'm going to save this as Royal Poop Scepter.
Royal Poop Scepter.
All right. I may have misspelled scepter. No, I got it spelled right. Okay. And I'll tell you what I'll do with this. I'm going to put this in our Google Drive. Okay, John?
Oh, you're putting it in the Google Drive. Okay.
I'm going to put it in the Google Drive. All right. Now, while I do this, do you want me to read you another question? It's in there, by the way. I don't know if you have time.
I'm looking for it right now.
We call this on-air producing is the technical name for.
That's the picture?
That's what it made, dude. Can you show it to everybody?
Let me download it. I will definitely put this on the screen right now.
I'll read the caption. Here's a fun sketch of a backpacker carrying their poop trowel like a royal scepter. The backpacker is standing proudly on trail with a trowel in hand adorned with a crown and a ribbon. This humorous scene captures the essence of our conversation perfectly. And backpacker carrying their poop trowel like a royal scepter. I got to say, one of the best images I've ever seen AI make in my entire life. I got to tell you, no 5-year-old could ever create anything like this. And what's with the arrow?
I don't know, but it's got it's got two triangles. It looks like a hatchet.
Can you describe to everybody exactly what you see? Because I don't feel like the description that ChatGPT uses really describes the picture that it drew. What would you say?
It's like if you had Hangman, the game Hangman. It's like the stick drawing that you'd have for Hangman without a head. Like for some reason, this is a headless camper. And then I'm assuming there's a green square in midsection, so I'm assuming that's his backpack. So it's a stick figure with a square backpack that's a translucent green. And he's got his hand up in the air and he's holding this like long, it looks like an arrow with a charcoal gray triangle on top of it. And then two like yellow triangles connected to the tip of it, and a red arrow just randomly pointing away from it.
Yeah, my favorite thing is the trail. The trail is just a green and a brown line parallel to each other that he's standing on.
Yeah. It's like I think my 6-year-old could draw a better picture of this than ChatGPT just did.
I think so as well.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. That's a pretty terrible picture, but it's going to be our thumbnail.
If you want to see what it actually looks like,
it's going to be our thumbnail.
Yeah, you should do it as a thumbnail. Just make sure you actually put like Backpacking Podcast logo and stuff on there.
Well,
What
here's what we'll do, Jeremiah. I'm going to count to 3, and then I want us both to make like a really confused face, and I'll make sure I put that on the thumbnail too. Are you ready?
Okay.
3,
Yes.
2, 1. Great. We'll screen grab that. That'll be our thumbnail. So you all are seeing our process. Everybody has experienced the thumbnail process
On
for a
air
YouTube channel.
producing.
Yes.
And if anybody wants to actually see what we're talking about and you're not watching on YouTube, Spotify, I also have been uploading the video version
Yes.
for the last month or so on Spotify. So you can check it out there. You want to do one more poop question before we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's get one last one in before we finish this thing up.
Okay. Number 4. What's your go-to strategy for avoiding that awkward eye contact with fellow hikers when nature calls? What?
Go back the proper distance and poop.
Yeah.
It's
Go
like,
out of eye contact range?
go 200 yards away from where everybody else is and poop.
We won't answer these, but I'll just read you a few of them, okay?
Okay, I want to hear the questions. Yeah.
All right. How do you find the perfect poop with a view spot? What's the most creative toilet paper substitute? Have you ever had an animal critique your, quote, work while you're in the middle of it?
An animal?
Yeah. Maybe
They
give you
critique things? Wow.
an unknowing look by a ground squirrel while you're taking a dump. What's the funniest place you've ever accidentally left your, quote, business card behind?
I got that one.
Have you ever had to use the, quote, emergency poop dance to find a spot in time?
Yes.
What's your secret to digging the perfect cat hole without feeling like a gold prospector?
That's funny.
How do you handle the suspense of not knowing if you'll get caught with your pants down? Literally. And then what's the wildest story that you have about a misadventure involving a poop mishap?
No, I
These
think we've
questions,
discussed those, but go back to that second. What's that second question again?
what's the most creative toilet paper substitute?
I think we should talk about that.
All right, we'll wrap with this.
That sounds like of all those questions, that's one that's got the most potential to have like just a complete ridiculous conversation.
I have used leaves, especially as a kid. You know, you're around on the farm. You're not going back to the house. You're just pooping in the woods.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to be careful. The two no-nos are poison ivy and poison oak.
Right.
Probably poison sumac as well.
Can I tell you what I did one time?
Oh, good
I've
Lord.
I've never talked about it on here. I'm surprised I haven't talked about it.
Oh, here we go.
I had a trip. It was just me. And for some reason I just had diarrhea. Like it was bad. Like I was going like at least once an hour for most of the night.
Hershey
And
squirt, call it.
I ran out of toilet paper.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I had an extra pair of underwear that I wasn't wearing. So I kept that to the side. I pulled out the ones that I had been wearing. I did my business. I wiped with the underwear, put the clean pair on, hung the dirty pair up on a tree overnight. The next day when I got up, I started a fire back up and I burned that underwear.
That was exactly what I was thinking.
I got up the next day. I'm like, nobody wants to see this, smell it, know that it existed. And I burned it. I burned it to the ground. There was no, it was just one of those things where I didn't really have a choice. Like it was like I had to use something and I didn't want to use socks, because they're just awkward. And so that's what I did.
It
socks,
happened. They don't have enough surface area either.
No. There was a lot more fabric to work with the underwear than there was with the socks.
Yeah,
the only problem with the nice thing was I did have hand sanitizer and soap with me, so I was able to wash my hands really good because underwear kind of lets stuff through it. So
yeah,
I'm not going to go any further with that because I don't think I need to. But
let's just
that's the most creative I've had to do. Now I've also had the leaf thing. I remember rocks, like smooth rocks, doing that one. That was in an Andrew Skirka video I watched once. And I was in a situation where I didn't have enough toilet paper on my trip, and I had to use rocks. So I had smooth rocks I had to use.
Was it you that was telling me somebody just does their hand in soap and water?
I think, well, it's Justin Outdoors. I think he uses a
Okay.
bidet and gets most of it rinsed out. Then he puts soap all over his hands, cleans the rest of it out, rinses it, and then washes his hands, and he's done.
Yeah, that's like taking a shower.
Yeah.
It's the closest that you're going to come to having as clean of a bum and clean hands out there. But
That was
I'm
his whole
sure
thing. His whole thing was, yeah, that's great. Everybody says that's disgusting, but he says, I guarantee when I'm done, my hands are a lot cleaner than yours when you're just using that hand sanitizer.
yeah, and you can't really like just shake his left hand because he's also using his hand like rubbing them together and soaping them up. So hopefully, if there's one thing I learned from COVID, it's that I don't wash my hands. I learned it in 2020.
You didn't wash them enough.
Or at all. You know, maybe when there's literal feces on your hand, you wash your hands.
Yeah. Okay, that's funny. That's funny.
So,
yeah, I think everybody learned that. I think if there were some good things that came out of COVID, it was cover your face when you cough and wash your hands.
Yeah, and hopefully when I hang out with Justin, I will remember and I'll ask him, when you're washing your hands, how long do you wash them for? Because from COVID, I learned you're supposed to like sing happy birthday while you're washing them. And that's like 20-second long song. And so
I think
you
it's
sing
overkill.
it every time.
Woo,
No.
buddy.
That's not overkill. That's sanitary. Especially if you're literally like got your hand on your butt.
Hey, you know what else is sanitary?
What's that?
Pouring bleach all over your body. I'm not doing it.
That's true. I guess there's different levels.
So I think it might be too far. I think you don't need to wash your hands for half an hour to like get
half
stuff
an
off of
hour.
you.
I said 20 seconds.
It's an exaggeration, Jeremiah. I'm exaggerating.
Hyperbolic. We're quite hyperbolic here. Anyway, hopefully everybody enjoyed me being in charge of the episode.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, it went a little crazy there at the end, but we did get to squeeze in a little bit of poop.
I think so, yeah. And we haven't really done a lot of that in the last few episodes, so I'm sure the quota needed to be reached.
I think it has.
I think it has. Well, Jeremiah, it's been fun. The next time you see me on here, I will have a different backdrop.
I'm excited to see how it turns out, man. Wish you the best of luck with the new place.
I appreciate it, man. So for myself and for Jeremiah, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Adios.